Here's a little-known truth most travelers don't realize. The wrong suitcase can secretly sabotage your entire trip before you even leave home. It sounds dramatic, but picture this: you're smiling at the store, convinced you found the perfect bag. But the moment you're rolling it across an airport floor or trying to lift it into an overhead bin, that same perfect luggage suddenly feels like a trap. One wrong feature can mean bruised shoulders, surprise baggage fees, endless frustration at security, and even missed connections. Vacations that should be unforgettable can quickly turn into stories of regret. And here's the sneaky part: many so-called premium features are actually designed to make you buy bigger, pack heavier, or rely on gadgets that fail at the worst possible time. But there's a simple solution: once you know which features to avoid, you can travel lighter, move easier, and protect both your health and your wallet. That's exactly what we're uncovering today. Welcome to Senior Travel Adventures, the channel dedicated to helping travelers over 60 explore the world with confidence, joy, and zero stress. If you're ready to protect yourself from these hidden luggage traps, tap like right now and subscribe, because here, we believe that adventure never expires. Meet Evelyn Marwood, a 72-year-old retired nurse from Dallas. After decades of caring for others, she finally carved out time to care for herself. Her dream was simple but powerful: an Alaskan cruise, a lifelong bucket list trip she had promised herself once she reached retirement. She researched the excursions, mapped out the sights, and even chose which evenings she would wear her favorite dresses on board. But when it came to her luggage, Evelyn made the same decision countless travelers over 60 make every year: she trusted the shiny promises of a store display. The suitcase looked flawless. Sleek, modern, branded as premium. It even came with so-called cutting-edge features: expandable compartments, a built-in battery, and whisper-quiet wheels. The salesperson called it the perfect travel companion. Evelyn believed it. What she didn't know was that this bag, this one seemingly smart purchase, would turn into the single biggest obstacle of her trip. From the moment she tried to lift it into her car trunk, she realized something was off. Empty, it felt heavier than her old suitcase when packed full. At the airport, security flagged her at the checkpoint because of the non-removable battery. And once she reached the cruise terminal, those elegant little wheels snagged on every crack in the pavement, forcing her to drag it by sheer effort. What was marketed as freedom had quietly become a burden. Evelyn's story is not rare. Many seniors are persuaded into buying luggage with features that sound impressive but create more problems than solutions. Each one seems minor, almost harmless, until it collides with the realities of airports, cruise docks, and hotel lobbies. That's where the truth reveals itself. And it's those very truths we're about to uncover. So let's walk through the 10 luggage features Evelyn, and thousands of travelers like her, wish they had avoided before their big trip. Feature 1. The heavy frame trap. When Evelyn first set eyes on her new suitcase, it looked like something out of a travel magazine. Sleek. Polished. A modern hardshell design that promised strength without the weight. The salesperson assured her it was the latest generation of lightweight luggage, designed for effortless mobility. But here's the unsettling truth: some so-called lightweight suitcases actually weigh more empty than your packed weekend bag from the 1980s. Manufacturers don't put that detail on the shiny display card, because if they did, half the customers would walk away. Asterisk. Evelyn found out the hard way. On the day of her trip, she lifted her new bag into the trunk of her car, and her shoulders protested before she had even left her driveway. By the time she reached the airport check-in desk, the scale showed her bag was nearly overweight, before she had added her souvenirs or cruise shopping. And when she tried to place it in the overhead compartment, the strain was real. At 72, her back didn't forgive that kind of lifting as easily as it did at 32. The emotional cost of this mistake is subtle but profound. Travel for seniors should be about freedom, not fear of injury. Yet a heavy suitcase can quietly turn independence into dependence. Every extra pound is not just weight, it's a risk. A risk of straining your back. A risk of depending on strangers to help you lift. A risk of starting your trip already exhausted. For many seniors, that one wrong purchase is the difference between enjoying a journey and dreading every transfer, every flight, every bus ride. Here's the part few travelers know. Airlines don't care how stylish your bag looks, they only care about the number on the scale. The heavier your luggage starts, the less room you have for the things that truly matter. Your clothes, your medication, the personal touches that make travel comfortable. In short, a heavy frame robs you twice, once at the check-in counter, and again when your body pays the price. The solution? Always check the weight of an empty suitcase before you buy. Don't just trust the label. Pick it up yourself, lift it shoulder high if you can, and imagine repeating that motion 5 or 6 times in one trip. Aim for a case that weighs under 8 pounds empty. Anything heavier is a hidden trap. Evelyn learned this lesson the hard way, but you don't have to. Choose light, and you'll choose freedom. Have you ever struggled lifting your suitcase into an overhead bin? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might just save another traveler from making the same mistake. Feature 2, Tiny Spinner Wheels. At first glance, spinner wheels look like the best invention in modern travel. Sleek, smooth, and designed to glide effortlessly across glossy airport floors. Evelyn thought so too, until reality hit her in the form of rain-soaked Vancouver sidewalks. Her suitcase, which spun perfectly inside the Dallas luggage store, suddenly turned into a stubborn anchor. The tiny wheels that promised elegance in the showroom became useless on wet, uneven pavement. Instead of gliding, they jammed into every crack, wobbling, stuttering, and finally refusing to move. Evelyn was left dragging her expensive new suitcase like it was a sack of rocks, in the pouring rain, with her clothes and cruise essentials inside. Asterisk. Here's the misleading secret. Those small spinner wheels are designed for airports, not for travel. They look chic in marketing videos because they are filmed on perfectly polished floors. But the real world isn't polished. The real world has cobblestones in Italy, cracked sidewalks in Chicago, gravel near bus stops in Canada, and cruise ship gangways that tilt and shift underfoot. Tiny wheels weren't built for that terrain, and when they fail, they don't just slow you down, they can ruin your luggage entirely. One broken wheel means your entire case is compromised. Airlines don't reimburse you. Shops won't repair it cheaply. You're left stranded, buying a replacement in the middle of your trip. Evelyn learned this lesson the hard way, and she's not alone. Many seniors discover too late that a suitcase's weakest link is its wheels. Think about it. Those 4 little points carry the entire weight of your belongings. If the wheels give out, the bag is dead. And dragging a broken case through airports, cruise terminals, or hotel lobbies is not just inconvenient, it's humiliating and exhausting. So what's the solution? Look for luggage with larger, reinforced wheels that extend slightly beyond the frame. Test them on rough flooring in the store, not just the showroom tile. Consider 2-wheeled options, which are sturdier for uneven ground, or hybrid models built with durability in mind. If you travel frequently on cruises or international trips, make wheel strength a top priority. It's not just about convenience, it's about independence. Evelyn's rainy Vancouver disaster taught her what glossy brochures don't say. Small wheels belong in stores, not on trips. Don't let them trap you too. And stay with me, because the next feature doesn't just trip you up, it can quietly drain hundreds of dollars from your travel budget. Feature 3, Expandable Pockets that Tempt Overpacking. When Evelyn bought her suitcase, one of the selling points that caught her eye was the expandable zipper. The clerk smiled and said, "Perfect for souvenirs." And at first, Evelyn thought it was brilliant, extra room when you need it, compact when you don't. But here's the trap no one tells you about. Expandable luggage isn't extra space, it's an invitation to overpack, and airlines know it. The moment you unzip that expansion panel, you're no longer in control, your suitcase is. And once it's stretched to its limit, you'll almost certainly pay for it. Asterisk. That's exactly what happened to Evelyn. On her way home from her dream Alaskan cruise, she couldn't resist filling that expandable pocket with locally carved trinkets, handmade scarves, and a few extra gifts for her grandkids. By the time she reached the check-in counter, her suitcase looked like it had eaten another suitcase. The agent lifted it onto the scale, glanced up at her with a practiced half-smile, and said, "That'll be an extra $175. Evelyn was stunned. The expansion she thought was saving her money had just cost her more than the souvenirs themselves. The frustration is something every traveler over 60 understands. Seniors often budget carefully for trips, planning meals, excursions, and special experiences. But the airlines have found a quiet goldmine in overweight fees, and expandable luggage is their accomplice. That innocent-looking zipper has become one of the most profitable traps in modern travel. And what makes it worse is that you don't realize the mistake until you're standing at the counter with no way out. Do you throw away the gifts? Do you argue with the staff? Or do you hand over your credit card and swallow the frustration? There is a way to outsmart this. First, if you do buy luggage with expandable panels, treat that zipper like it doesn't exist. Never unzip it unless you've weighed your bag at home and you're absolutely sure you're under the limit. Even better, avoid expandable models altogether and stick with a fixed-size suitcase. What you see is what you get, and what you get is predictability. Pack smarter, not larger. Roll clothes instead of folding, use compression cubes, and remember that every trip leaves more memories in your heart than items in your bag. Evelyn learned an expensive lesson in that airport line, but you don't have to. That extra pocket isn't your friend, it's a fee collector waiting for the right moment. Resist the temptation, and you'll keep both your souvenirs and your budget intact. And stay tuned, because the next luggage feature doesn't just cost you money, it can put your safety on the line. Feature 4, no side handles. Some luggage makers call it sleek design. Others claim it makes a bag look more modern. But here's the harsh truth. A suitcase without side handles isn't modern, it's dangerous. Evelyn discovered this in the most embarrassing and nerve-wracking way possible, right in front of dozens of fellow travelers at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Her bag rolled onto the carousel, and unlike most passengers who grabbed theirs by sturdy side handles, Evelyn had nothing to grip. She bent, tugged, and with one sharp pull nearly lost her balance. For a moment, she felt that sickening panic all seniors know too well, the fear of falling in public. Asterisk. Think about it, airports are loud, crowded, and rushed. Baggage carousels don't stop for you to take your time. They keep moving, bags piling up behind yours, while strangers crowd closer. Without a side handle, Evelyn had to grab awkwardly at the top, twisting her wrist and leaning dangerously forward. One wrong step, and she could have gone down hard on the unforgiving floor. And while for a younger traveler it might mean bruises, for seniors a fall can change an entire trip, or even an entire year. Here's the misleading marketing trick. Brands showcase their streamlined luggage as easier to stack, easier to roll, easier to stow. But what they're leaving out is that most real-life lifting doesn't happen when you're standing comfortably behind your suitcase. It happens sideways, when you're pulling it from a taxi trunk, lifting it into an airport shuttle, dragging it out of a carousel, or hoisting it onto a hotel bed. Without a side handle, every one of those moments turns into a strain, a twist, or a gamble. Evelyn later told her daughter, "I felt more nervous in that baggage claim than I did boarding the cruise." That single missing feature created a memory of stress instead of joy. And the worst part? It could have been avoided with something as simple and inexpensive as one extra handle. The solution is simple but crucial. Never buy a suitcase without at least one padded, sturdy side handle. Test it in the store, see if you can grip it comfortably from different angles. If you already own a bag without one, consider adding a luggage strap or grip extender to give yourself safer handling options. For seniors, small details make all the difference. A missing handle isn't style, it's a silent hazard. Don't let clever marketing convince you otherwise. Evelyn's near fall was a wake-up call. Your luggage should support your journey, not put you at risk. And the next feature is even trickier, because it hides behind the promise of technology, but instead of helping, it can actually stop you from boarding your flight. Feature 5, Smart Bags with Batteries. When Evelyn bought her new suitcase, she was told it was the future of travel. Built-in battery. USB charging port. A bag so advanced, she wouldn't need to worry about her phone dying on the cruise or while waiting for her connecting flight. It sounded brilliant. Why carry a power bank when your suitcase itself could charge your devices? But here's the hidden danger. A smart suitcase with a non-removable battery isn't smart at all. It's a one-way ticket to getting stopped at the airport. Evelyn found this out the hard way at Dallas-Fort Worth International, when TSA informed her that her shiny new bag couldn't be checked because its battery couldn't be removed. Asterisk. Imagine the panic. The cruise ship departure clock was ticking. The airline staff told her she had two options: remove the battery, impossible, since the design didn't allow it, or abandon the bag entirely. After years of dreaming about her Alaskan cruise, Evelyn stood at the counter with her hands shaking, realizing that the luggage she thought would make her life easier might keep her from the trip altogether. The very smart feature she paid extra for nearly cost her the entire vacation. This isn't just Evelyn's problem. In the US, all major airlines now ban smart bags with non-removable lithium batteries from being checked, and many won't even allow them in the cabin if they can't be powered down. The UK, Canada, and Australia have similar restrictions. And these aren't small inconveniences, they are safety policies, because lithium batteries can overheat and cause fires mid-flight. Manufacturers rarely make this clear in their advertising, because why scare customers when you can sell them on the dream of convenience? For seniors, the emotional cost is heavier than the financial one. Travel should reduce stress, not create it. Standing at an airport counter, worried about missing your trip, is not the kind of adventure anyone dreams about at 70. A suitcase should carry your clothes, not your anxiety. The solution is simple. If you like the idea of charging on the go, only buy smart luggage with a fully removable battery pack. Check the airline's website before your trip to confirm their policy, because these rules continue to evolve. Or better yet, skip smart luggage altogether and carry a small, TSA-approved external power bank. It's lighter, cheaper, and guaranteed not to get your bag rejected. Evelyn's experience left her shaking her head. Technology can be wonderful, but not when it puts your entire journey at risk. So ask yourself this: would you really trust your trip to a suitcase that needs charging? Think carefully, because the next feature isn't about tech, it's about something far more basic, and when it fails, it can leave your dignity and your belongings scattered for all to see. Feature 6: Fragile zippers. It happened in an instant. Evelyn had just arrived at the cruise terminal in Seattle, surrounded by excited travelers snapping photos, laughing, and lining up to board. She bent to wheel her suitcase forward when, snap! The zipper gave way, and her bag gaped open like a mouth spilling secrets. Out tumbled a sweater, a pair of socks, and to her horror, her neatly packed undergarments. A broken zipper doesn't just expose your luggage, it exposes you. For Evelyn, it wasn't just inconvenient, it was humiliating. Seniors don't want to be remembered at the cruise terminal as the woman whose bag exploded. They want dignity, ease, and peace of mind. Asterisk. Here's the shocking part. Zippers are one of the weakest points of most suitcases, yet they're also one of the least discussed. Manufacturers save costs by using single-coil zippers that look fine until they are under pressure. Add a little overpacking, a shift in weight, or a baggage handler tossing your case, and suddenly your entire trip is at risk of spilling out onto the pavement. In fact, luggage experts estimate that zippers are the #1 cause of bag failures worldwide. But you'll never see that statistic in glossy advertisements. Evelyn's embarrassment at the terminal turned into stress throughout the trip. She had to buy an overpriced luggage strap from the ship's gift shop just to keep her bag closed, and every time she looked at it, she was reminded of the fiasco. It wasn't just about a broken zipper, it was about her confidence being shaken before her vacation even started. For seniors, that matters more than most people realize. Travel is supposed to be freeing, not filled with worry about whether your suitcase will survive the next leg. The solution? Always choose luggage with double-coil, self-repairing zippers or models reinforced with lockable clasps instead of flimsy stitching. Test the zipper in the store, run it back and forth, tug gently at the teeth, and feel for sturdiness. If it feels thin or flimsy under your fingers, trust your instincts and walk away. Another smart backup is to carry a strong luggage strap or belt, not as your first line of defense, but as insurance against the unexpected. Because the last thing you want on your trip is to be remembered for a suitcase malfunction instead of the memories you came to make. Evelyn's broken zipper was a painful reminder that a suitcase is only as strong as its weakest point. And while her story ended with a quick fix, the next feature we'll cover isn't as easy to patch, it's built into the very design, and it quietly works against seniors who need visibility and ease. Feature 7: Bright white interiors. When Evelyn first unzipped her brand new suitcase at home, she thought the crisp white interior looked elegant, like something out of a catalog. Clean, modern, stylish. But fast forward to the cruise, and reality hit. A spilled travel-size lotion left a permanent grey smear, a pair of shoes left scuff marks, and within days, the once pristine lining looked dingy and stained. Worse still, when Evelyn tried to find her navy sweater in the dim hotel room, the glare from the bright interior and overhead lighting made it harder for her aging eyes to spot what she needed. That sleek white lining that seemed luxurious in the store became a source of frustration, mess, and unnecessary stress on the road. Asterisk. This is a hidden design trap. Manufacturers push light-colored interiors because they photograph beautifully for online shopping. White or cream linings make the suitcase look bigger, more spacious, and chic. But for seniors, they create two major problems. They stain almost instantly, and they create harsh glare that makes it harder to distinguish dark-colored clothing or small essentials. Aging eyes are more sensitive to contrast and brightness, which means the very feature advertised as stylish ends up working against visibility and comfort. Evelyn remembered the suitcases of her younger years, simple dark linings, often navy or black, that lasted for decades without showing every mark and smudge. They weren't glamorous, but they were practical. They served travelers instead of photographers. Nostalgia isn't just sentiment here, it's a reminder that some of the older designs were far more functional than the modern marketing tricks we see today. The emotional cost is subtle but real. Seniors value dignity and ease. Fumbling around in a suitcase, struggling to spot medication bottles or socks against a blinding white background, isn't just inconvenient, it can feel disorienting and stressful. And when you add stains that won't scrub out, the bag that once looked brand new starts feeling cheap and worn long before its time. The solution? Look for luggage with dark or patterned interiors, navy, charcoal, or even subtle prints. These not only hide stains but also provide better contrast, making it easier for aging eyes to locate items quickly. If you've already got a light-lined bag, you can still work around it by using packing cubes in darker shades to create clear contrast zones inside your suitcase. Because at the end of the day, your luggage should serve you, not make you squint and sigh every time you open it. Evelyn quickly swore off white interiors after that trip. And she's right, sometimes the most dangerous features aren't flashy gimmicks, but simple design flaws hidden in plain sight. But the next feature goes beyond frustration. It can actually put your belongings at risk before you even reach your destination. Feature 8. Flashy designer bags. Evelyn thought she was being smart when she bought her patterned designer suitcase, a bold floral print with a luxury label that made her feel stylish and current. After all, she was heading to Mexico for a warm weather escape, and she wanted to look put together. But when she wheeled it through her hotel lobby in Cancun, one of the staff quietly leaned over and whispered, "Senora, keep an eye on that bag, it attracts attention." That was the moment Evelyn realized, her beautiful suitcase wasn't making her look chic, it was making her look like a target at asterisk. Here's the hidden danger: flashy luggage, whether covered in bold patterns or stamped with designer logos, signals money. To thieves, it doesn't matter if you bought it on clearance or splurged at a boutique. What they see is a traveler who probably has valuables worth stealing. Security experts warn that conspicuous luggage is one of the easiest ways to mark yourself as a walking wallet, especially in busy airports, bus stations, or international hotels where theft is a real concern. Seniors, who may already feel more vulnerable in crowded or unfamiliar environments, face an even higher emotional toll when they realize their suitcase is working against their safety. Evelyn felt it immediately. Instead of enjoying her trip, she found herself clutching her bag more tightly, worrying when it was out of sight, and double-checking locks before leaving her room. That underlying anxiety wasn't the vacation vibe she dreamed of. She realized that what she really wanted wasn't attention, it was peace of mind. Because dignity in travel doesn't come from being flashy. It comes from moving confidently, without the weight of unnecessary worry. The solution is surprisingly simple. Choose neutral, understated luggage. Solid colors like navy, charcoal, or muted tones blend in and don't scream for attention. If you're worried about spotting your bag on a carousel, add a discreet luggage tag or a colorful strap, something that makes you recognize it without advertising wealth to everyone else. Another overlooked tip: avoid bags with oversized brand logos or gold hardware that screams luxury. Subtle is safe, and safe is stylish in its own right. Evelyn learned the hard way that her floral print statement piece was saying the wrong thing. And she's not alone. Many seniors unknowingly buy bags that compromise their security instead of protecting it. Because sometimes, what looks glamorous in the store can cast a spotlight you don't want abroad. And the next feature? It's not about standing out, it's about fading too quickly, leaving your bag weak and worn when you need it most. Feature 9, non-waterproof materials. It was supposed to be a moment of excitement, Evelyn stepping toward the cruise terminal in Vancouver, suitcase in tow, ready to begin her long-awaited journey. But then the skies opened. A sudden, drenching rain poured down as porters scrambled to move luggage under awnings. Evelyn's bag, made of a stylish but flimsy fabric, sat exposed for less than 10 minutes. By the time it was wheeled inside, disaster had struck. Her clothes were damp, her shoes squelched, and worst of all, her carefully organized medications were soggy, labels smudged beyond recognition. What should have been the joyful start of her adventure turned into panic, because a suitcase that can't handle weather isn't luggage, it's a liability. Asterisk. Here's the truth that manufacturers won't tell you, most mid-range luggage is made of polyester blends or thin canvas marketed as durable, but they are anything but waterproof. A light drizzle may bead off for a while, but under real rain, these fabrics absorb water like a sponge. And once that moisture seeps in, it isn't just clothing at risk. It's essentials like prescriptions, passports, and travel documents. Imagine arriving at a cruise check-in or foreign customs with a passport so warped it won't scan, or pills reduced to an unrecognizable paste. That isn't just inconvenient. For seniors with strict medication schedules, it could turn into a health emergency. Evelyn's panic that day was visceral. She stood at the counter wringing out the corner of her blouse, wondering if her heart medication was still safe to take. No traveler should have to face that question, especially not someone who's spent months or years planning a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Seniors deserve security in their travel gear, not the constant fear that one rainstorm could undo it all. The solution is both practical and non-negotiable. Always choose luggage made of water-resistant or waterproof materials. Look for ballistic nylon, treated polycarbonate shells, or fabric coated with polyurethane. Check product descriptions carefully. Water repellent is not the same as waterproof. And don't stop at the suitcase itself. Pack medications and documents in sealable plastic bags or waterproof pouches inside your luggage for double protection. That extra layer of defense could be the difference between a smooth journey and a ruined one. Evelyn learned that day that a bag's true worth isn't in its color or style, but in how it protects what matters most. Because when you're traveling over 60, peace of mind is priceless. And if a little rain can unravel your trip, imagine what the final feature on our list could do. It's the one that silently drains your energy before you've even taken a step. Feature 10, oversized monster suitcases. When Evelyn bought her massive suitcase, she thought she was solving a problem. Why juggle multiple bags when one giant one could carry everything? On paper, it made sense. Fewer handles, fewer wheels, fewer things to keep track of. But the dream crumbled the moment she boarded her Alaska cruise. That monster bag barely fit into the ship's tiny elevator, scraped against narrow hallways, and felt like hauling a stubborn mule every time she tried to maneuver it. And the nightmare didn't end there. A week later in Europe, she faced the infamous steep stone steps of an old Venetian hotel. No bellhop in sight. Just Evelyn, red-faced and exhausted, dragging her oversized suitcase up stair after stair, wishing she had chosen differently. Asterisk. Here's the shocking truth. Oversized luggage doesn't save effort, it multiplies it. Airlines advertise that you can check bags up to 62 linear inches, but they don't mention that bigger bags are more likely to exceed weight limits, leading to brutal fees and painful lifting. Seniors, especially, pay the price, not only at the counter but in their backs, knees, and shoulders. A single awkward lift can cause strains that ruin an entire vacation. And unlike smaller cases, these behemoths don't fit neatly into taxis, buses, or compact hotel rooms. Instead of simplifying travel, they create a trail of obstacles from airport to arrival. Evelyn's realization hit hard. One giant bag didn't give her freedom, it stole it. Instead of enjoying her cruise, she spent her time worrying about maneuvering her luggage. Instead of arriving refreshed in Venice, she arrived sore, sweating, and embarrassed as younger travelers whisked by with nimble carriers. Because one big bag doesn't carry convenience, it carries stress. For seniors who value independence and confidence on the road, that stress can feel heavier than the bag itself. The solution is to rethink packing entirely. 2 smaller, lightweight suitcases, or a suitcase paired with a sturdy carry-on, offer far more flexibility. Smaller bags are easier to lift, easier to stow, and less likely to exceed weight limits. They can be shared between travel companions or divided by purpose, clothing in one, essentials in the other. Add lightweight packing cubes to stay organized, and suddenly what seemed like more hassle becomes freedom in disguise. Seniors can move independently without relying on strangers to haul their belongings. Evelyn swore never again after Venice. She learned the most powerful lesson of all. Travel is about mobility, dignity, and joy, not dragging your life behind you in one backbreaking piece of luggage. So if you're tempted by that monster suitcase on the store floor, stop and ask yourself, are you buying freedom or are you buying stress? Because the wrong answer could follow you up every staircase, through every narrow hallway, and into every precious moment of your journey. Evelyn began her journey like many seniors do, with good intentions but the wrong tools. She trusted marketing, glossy photos, and fancy features, only to discover that her luggage was working against her at every step. Heavy frames strained her back, tiny wheels caught in cracks, zippers betrayed her, and oversized smart gimmicks nearly cost her an entire trip. Each mistake chipped away at her confidence, until travel itself felt more like an obstacle course than an adventure. It wasn't her spirit that failed, it was her suitcase. But here's the turning point: Evelyn didn't give up. After the cruise fiasco, she took a step back and asked herself a simple question: what if the problem isn't me? What if it's the bag? That's when everything shifted. She invested in lighter, durable luggage with senior-friendly features, sturdy side handles, large all-terrain wheels, double-coil zippers, and a subtle, neutral design. She traded gimmicks for practicality, and suddenly the entire travel experience transformed. The next time Evelyn flew, she glided through Dallas-Fort Worth like a seasoned pro. No struggling at baggage claim. No panicked rush to buy overpriced straps. No fear of theft or embarrassment. Instead of being slowed down, she was moving freely again, her suitcase no longer her enemy, but her companion. On her next cruise, she boarded without worry. On her European tour, she walked up cobblestone streets with a smile, because her luggage worked with her, not against her. And that's the emotional payoff seniors need to hear. Evelyn realized that the right luggage isn't just about carrying clothes, it's about carrying dignity, freedom, and confidence. Now, instead of dragging a burden, she carries possibility. Instead of stress, she carries joy. So if you've ever felt like travel is harder than it used to be, remember Evelyn's lesson: it's not your age, it's your gear. Choose smarter, lighter, senior-friendly luggage, and you'll find yourself gliding through airports, cruises, and tours with ease. Because one simple change can turn struggle back into adventure. And for seniors, adventure never expires. ***. If Evelyn's story made you stop and think twice about your own suitcase, then this is your moment. Don't just nod along, take action. Hit that like button right now, because the truth is, one wrong luggage choice can ruin a vacation you've been planning for years. And if her story saved you from repeating her mistakes, whether it's battling a monster bag, wrestling with broken zippers, or watching your clothes soak through in the rain, then that tiny click is your way of saying, I'm traveling smarter from now on. But don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Think about a friend over 60 who still insists on dragging around an outdated, flashy, or oversized suitcase. Maybe it's your neighbor planning their first cruise, your sister heading to Europe, or your best friend who swears by the same bag they bought in 1995. Do them a favor they'll never forget: share this video with them. Because saving someone from a luggage disaster isn't just about avoiding stress. It could mean protecting their health, their budget, and their dignity. And here's the most important step: subscribe to Senior Travel Adventures. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Because every episode we release is packed with insights that make your journeys safer, smoother, and more joyful. And unlike the glossy ads that try to sell you gimmicks, Everything we share comes from the real struggles and solutions seniors face around the world. Travel is changing fast, but that doesn't mean it's leaving you behind. Evelyn's story is proof. Your best adventures don't happen by accident, they happen by preparation. And here on this channel, we make sure you're prepared for every trip, whether it's a weekend getaway or the journey of a lifetime. So tap subscribe, join our community of smart senior travelers, and remember, your best journey isn't behind you. It's waiting just ahead. Because for us, adventure never expires. Asterisk.